I think Utah's retail scene has elevated itself to the point where we're no longer considered a fly-by state. And so, we're seeing brands that are sought after across the entire country that are now dedicating and allocating time to visit the state of Utah and to understand the market at a higher level. I'm Andy Moffitt, Senior Managing Director with Newmark Mountain West. I'm a partner. I'm a retail expert or specialist. I've been in commercial real estate for almost 2 decades now. Been with Mountain West for about 15 years. I'd say the biggest trend we saw in 2025 is a significant number of new announcements about anchored shopping centers that are going to be in various phases over the next couple of years, coming to the surface or coming to the market. So for the first time since COVID, we've really seen some relief in the form of new box anchored shopping centers being announced. And notably, some very sought after anchors for those opportunities, specifically Target and Trader Joe's. We're also seeing our first Whole Foods in northern Utah County that's been announced. And that's the first new Whole Foods in Utah since 2018, which is when they did their last deal up in Kimball Junction in Park City. So overall, we're seeing tremendous growth in the box category with new anchored shopping centers being announced and under construction, which from a retail perspective gives us opportunity to lease new spaces and absorb those into the market. But it gives us an answer to the question of where are we going to find opportunities for growth? Where can we find new markets and new spaces to lease? And finally, we have an answer there. I mean, it's throughout all of Utah, really, but the area specifically to call out where we're seeing the most amount of growth is the northern end of Utah County and the southern end of Salt Lake County. Not surprisingly, those have been some of the biggest growth markets for the state of Utah over the last 5 to 10 years. And that's where we see the biggest concentration of new growth opportunities with anchored shopping centers today. We have probably one of our most successful retail mixed-use projects in the state of Utah today, which is the Post District. Looking at it purely from a retail lens and the environment that was created there and what we've seen occur is really tremendous. And I think a great calling card for the state of Utah as an example and a model to look forward to for the future to say, how do we make these environments work? The point is a tremendous mixed use opportunity, really defines, I think, what the future is going to look like for the state of Utah. Where we've been at for the last 24 months now is really in the initial phases of courting the anchors to the project, the retail interest in that project, despite it being several years into the future, has been very strong and very high. We're very excited about what we're doing there. Okay. The growth in St. George, for those of us that are following what's happening in Utah, is one of those areas that has just been red hot ever since COVID. And I think the Paseo project in particular is very interesting for a variety of reasons, probably most notably because it's the first time St. George is going to see a significant retail shopping center that's not located adjacent to I-15. So the market is essentially expanding to the point where now anchored opportunities are looking to go off of the primary corridor, which again, that has been kind of the bread and butter and really the heartbeat of that region for a long time.